the onset, I must say that what Mr. Mohan Reddy brought out in his presentation was one of the most cohesive thought processes all in one place. I have identical views and I could add almost nothing. And I would say that's a masterpiece because in 4, 5, 6 slides, he's captured what is this essence of the growth of India, strengths what we have, and how we can do better. Historically, I think as the private sector and also the public sector grew in India, some have been on one side, some are only on manufacturing and some are only in design. I spent a lifetime in the public sector and then last 6 years in the private sector. And when I was in the private sector in 2 companies, it started emerging. They said, no, we'll do only engineering, but we'll not do manufacturing. And other people who are in manufacturing say, no, we do manufacturing for tier 1, we are tier 1 to somebody and engineering somebody else's. And as a nation, we have felt, we buy so many billions every year, but we are only assembling or manufacturing and nothing comes along with it. So I think the times have changed quite a lot, and I'm extremely pleased to say that the government has brought out the policy which was in our minds for many years. We were all wanting it should happen, and it has happened. So it is more FDIs are welcome. Government is keen that they brought out and articulated in the new DPP that yes, we will invest in the private sector, public sector will be on the level playing field, and we will support these investments, and MSMEs will also invest. So everything is going in the right direction. And I'm very happy that at least by 2016, we are able to see what we had inherently within us, it's as a policy which has come about. Now, the challenge is always has been in the implementation. Start with the policy, then comes the implementation. Now, I find that as industry, anybody sitting here is interested in, they want to do something major, minor, whatever. You have a major platform, or you have a subsystem, or you have details of the subsystem. It's a question of investment, it's a question of the demand. So anybody investing in a program or a project or a platform says, okay, where's the demand? I would like to invest. I can certainly invest, maybe with some assistance, but I would like to see that what I invest in design, develop, should have a demand. I think that is one of the biggest challenges. Second is that with a background on the defense side, the defense investments are enormous. You can't imagine how much they are. If I recall from memory, the Sukhoi 30, which is being made from raw materials in India, I emphasize made from raw materials in India, required a capital investment of $750 million. This is at 2000 price levels. Just to give you an idea of the scale what is involved. So this kind of investment does need to be supported by enormous amount of demand. Now, as individual companies, I still don't relate to some of the recent decisions, and I speak very frankly in that well, private sector, we can do far more, we are certainly far more efficient, but we'll make the entire platform. We'll make an entire aircraft, or we make an entire helicopter, whatever. I don't think it's going to work because the numbers are too small. Investments are very heavy. You can figure out how much it will take to make 40 aircraft of a type, and so on and so forth. So then, coming to the theme what Mr. Mohan Reddy had outlined to me, 2 ways. There are projects which the government tenders out, the ministry tenders out on behalf of the services. Again, I'm on the defense sector. So the process of implementation needs to go faster. The challenge is in the selection of a partner. I think there are committees set up to do that, and I'm sure a solution will emerge. Other is on the partnership with the established players. It is easy to denigrate them, but keep in mind that they've been in the business for 70, 80 years. They know what it is. They have enormous investments already in place. And one way is partnerships and collaborations. And my views in this is that for industry in the private sector, it's not a question of swallowing the entire whale. It's a question of starting with the subsystem, starting with some subset of subsystem, going into a partnership mode and saying, all right, we will take and do it for the entire program. So the processes are already in place, the thought process is already in place. For example, we talk about the Indian Air Force and the need for having more aircraft, and the government has very wisely decided that, okay, let's make 120 LCAs in India. Just think What is the potential of that? You have an airframe, you have systems on board, and you have the right industry players over here who have picked up the experience as it's been brought out in Mr. Reddy's participation. It's a question of collaboration. One major public sector can't do it all. It's a question of the ecosystem around, and the nation will develop. And this is supported by the fact that you mentioned Second World War and so on. How is the US developed? How is the industry developed? How is Europe developed? It's the ecosystem. You have Dassaults, you have Lockheed Martins, you have Boeing, you have Airbuses. You know what one admires most when you look at Airbus or Boeing? It's their ecosystem of thousands of tier 1s, tiers 2. And if you go to Toulouse, you don't see anybody. The fully wing is there, the fuselage is there, and they roll out 3 aircraft a day. That's it. So I will leave it at that. I think it's a question of collaboration, investments, partnership, accepting that an individual company can't have everything. It's a question of collaboration. So I'll leave it at that. And again, I must say, I relate to you exactly what you put. You put it there, it comes out from me spontaneously. Thank you.
Thank you.